another great question. So I personally like, again, I try to keep it as simple as I can. And I think about results and how, because everyone's model is slightly different. So that's how you get to your metrics. You think about what are the results I'm trying to get? Because if you're a lead gen site, you're not worried about sales as much as you are about the number of leads that you're acquiring or whatever it is. So that might be your main metric. It's the results metric. And then there's the how steps, right? How are you getting those results? And you can see that I'm answering it in a similar way because there is a pattern. That's the framework. Because if you follow that, you go, okay, well, in my case, let's say I'm an e-commerce store, the results would be number of sales, right? My transactions, I'm getting the orders, how many products, and then you start thinking, what other results? Well, how many were in the cart? Okay, I want to know maybe that, because you're just learning about what the end result of all those transactions were. But then you go, okay, what are the how steps? Well, I need to know how many people started the checkout process that actually ended up. Okay, and how did they get the checkout process? Well, they would have had that added to cart, so I should know that. And what do they have to do before they add to cart? Well, they had to see the product detail page, so I should know that. And now all of a sudden you've got those how steps. And the entire idea of this is that you're measuring for the, and metrics is a good word, but I think about it in behaviors, right? Like I'm in my head, I'm imagining thousands of people seeing the product detail page. And of those, a few hundred are going to click on the add to cart. And of those, half of those are going to start the checkout and half of those are going to finish, something like that. Right. But you measure for that results and how story so that you can see where the breakdown is. And then the next question is going to be like, well, what do you focus on, right? Kind of what is that key performance indicator, that key performance metric that you want to focus on? And the answer to that is that's going to change depending upon how your forecast is. Because remember, you're not just measuring this to go, like, for example, going back to that blog idea of like, well, let's use the store. How are people using our e-commerce store? Is not a great question. It is a question, but it's not a great question. A better question would be, here's how they're supposed to be using your e-commerce store. Are they using it in that way? And so now you've got your forecast. You measure against that forecast, all those little results and how steps. You will see, all of a sudden, you might be like, hey, the right people are seeing, we got a number of people hitting products, which is great. They're adding to cart in the percentage we thought they were going to. They're even starting the checkout. But the average ticket is only $20. We thought it was going to be $60. Okay, Let's go back. That's what we got to figure out. How do we get average order value up? Maybe we change the offer. Maybe we're changing an order bump. Maybe we're putting related items. But now we're very focused there because we know that's where the issue is that we have to fix, because that was the piece that did not match what we thought was going to happen, right? Whereas the opposite might be true, whereas, hey, maybe average order value is perfectly fine and it works, but there's only 100 people that saw the product detail page. We thought 1,000 people, that maybe Facebook was going to send 1,000 people. So now we've got to go focus on the campaign. Why didn't that work to get 1,000 people over? Or how else? Maybe Facebook's tapped out and we can't figure out how to get 1,000 people, but we need 1,000 people. So it's like, well, let's go to the email list. Let's see if we get maybe affiliate channel to open up. Let's start opening up Google ads. And you have more conversations around the traffic side of things because the journey is working the way that it's supposed to.